I was collecting all of my leftovers to take out. I turn around and look up the stairs, and there he is singing Pavarotti.
No. At the top of the stairs.
At the top of the stairs, serenading me as I made my way back to the crew car.
See, he was saving his vocal.
And it went a little bit... should I do a bit of a...
Please.
Oh, solo mio. Why are you running?
Who are you?
What's got to do with you?
4 months ago, all right?
Until they clean up
And this
their
time
yard,
fair
the
comes.
rats won't go
We
away.
don't know it.
Is this all hocus pocus?
Can you say, abracadabra, here's your pay?
I'm pretty fit, the door, I can keep running.
It's called a current affair Australia. Is that what the name of it?
Have a lovely day.
Hello, I'm Lizzie Pearl.
Well, hello, Lizzie. I am Steve Marshall.
Hello to you, Steve. And welcome to another episode of That's ACA.
That's ACA, where we pull back the curtain on Australia's most popular and most watched current affairs show called A Current Affair.
It is called A Current
What a
Affair.
title. Who came up with that?
Who knows? We might need, that'll be a topic for another episode, I think. We have to delve into the archives. Now, this episode, we're going to be talking about whistleblowers.
Yeah.
We're also going to be delving into visa battles, which is something that comes across our desk quite a lot here at A Current Affair. I've got a lovely little story about some beautiful nonos, I should say,
Nonos.
in the kitchen.
Ooh, that sounds tasty.
Yeah, that was a pretty
Yeah.
good day at work, that one. And we've also got a lovely story, and I'm not going to give it away just yet, but the story was called Stairway to Hell, but from the outcome,
Stairway to Heaven.
could be a stairway to heaven.
Yeah, let's hope so. Well, we'll come to that. So, whistleblowers, right? We can't do our job without the brave souls who put their face, most of the time, on camera. Sometimes they have a hidden identity, but nonetheless, they are the ones that are blowing the whistle and, you know, talking about the seediness, the nastiness, the illegalness that goes on in our stories, which make the story and gives us something to latch onto, and really it makes these stories stand up, doesn't it?
And quite often doing it at great personal risk as well. And so we really have to give it to those people who do stand up and call out something wrong when they see it, because it can come at a cost to them personally in putting their face on the TV and saying what they're seeing.
Yeah.
And you had some experience with this quite recently.
Yeah, that's right. Adele Graham, who bravely came on our show and shone the light on an alleged corruption ring worth more than $100 million inside the Transport for New South Wales office. Now, when I first got in contact with Adele, she told me over the course of 2 hours on the phone about what she allegedly witnessed inside her workplace. And at the end of this conversation, I said, okay, it sounds like you really want to tell us your story, but do you want to show us your face? Expecting her to say, look, I don't want to, but I'll tell you everything I know. But, you know, you've got to hand it to Adele. She's in her early 60s. She lives by herself. And she said, no, I think I should own this. And so she came on and told us her story. She vetted companies and company directors vying for lucrative rural roadside safety contracts. Adele was stunned at what she uncovered.
Contracts were being awarded to companies in excess of what they should have been given.
Contracts awarded to one company stood out from the rest: Protection Barriers. This roadside safety company was an incumbent supplier. It had been handed $110 million worth of work by Transport for New South Wales over the past decade.
Red flags in relation to...
Adele says she rejected Protection Barriers from the tender process, but claims her boss, Ibrahim Helmi, ordered her to reverse her decision.
It was just so wrong. They should have been doing $7 million worth of work a year.
Where she now lives on the road because she has sold her place in fear of her safety.
Wow.
and lives in a caravan, if you like, or a motorhome, travelling around Australia and doing bits and pieces of work there. But this is a case which is before ICAC, and we can't go into too much detail, but, people like Adele, we can't do our job without them, right?
We can't.
Yeah.
Did she take much convincing from you, Steve, or by the time you'd spoken to her, she'd made up her mind?
No, I didn't need to convince her at all. She was resolute in what she wanted to say and the outcome as well. Because, to her, this corruption, it not only cost the taxpayer tens of millions of dollars, but potentially might have cost lives on the road due to road maintenance not being done because money was allegedly being pocketed. So, she gave us the lead and we jumped into it. It took us all around the place, 6 hours north to Grafton, to approach a gentleman who may have had a hand in this. Okay, I think Jason Chalou is just through there having a chat to someone. I think we'll pull up and give it a go.
All right, go for on. You call it?
All right, let's go. $30 million worth of assets were reportedly seized in the raid, and Jason Chalou's been keeping a low profile. Jason, can I ask you about an investigation to ICAC and why $30 million of assets have been seized here?
Don't know anything about it.
What do you mean you don't know anything about it, Jason?
Let's go.
It's a good yarn to catch up on if you haven't seen it. But, we can't do our job without these people. And it brings me to a recent story by Sam Kuchiara about a woman who was the head of a charity and allegedly, well, not allegedly, she was convicted for stealing $500,000 of charity money and, flaunting it on holidays overseas, going to Miley Cyrus concerts, on the dime of donated money.
Of donated money that people thought was going to charity.
When Maggie started volunteering as the charity's treasurer, she had a hunch something wasn't right. So the board demanded Stathopoulos hand over access to the bank account.
Was causing as much trouble as she could to prevent us from getting access. As soon as I got into the bank account, I could see within minutes that there was significant spending on personal items like airfares and fashion and style consultants and Dan Murphy.
And I think that's where the whistleblowers, the risk can sometimes just get too much, but also the fact that something is going to happen as a result of them speaking out, they can put aside that risk because to them, it's worth it.
Well, these people have that little person on their shoulder, right, telling them that what they're seeing is wrong and they have to speak up about it. And that is what we love. It really plays to why we do our job, really. We have those little people on our shoulders saying, hey, this is a yarn, let's roll up our sleeves and let's fight for particular people, right?
Yeah, because they've carried so much risk in speaking to us that then it's our job to follow through and make sure that those tough questions are answered and hopefully we can get an outcome.
Yeah. Outcomes, right? We recently had a story about a granny who's been living in Australia for a number of years as an Australian family, yet faces being kicked out of the country. Dominique Dutoy is a two-time Olympian and an NRLW player, and she's proud to call Australia home.
Yeah.
Her family fled Zimbabwe when she was a little girl for a better future, and now she's pleading with the Australian government to keep her grandma here.
Granny here.
This story, I had a tear come to my eye for this story because, these people, even though they weren't born here, they call Australia home.
She's called Australia home and she's facing the difficulty now, Granny is, of not being able to go into aged care. She's got early stage dementia. She needs to go into aged care.
And Mum's been here 13 years. She's not going anywhere. She's got nowhere to go.
Recently, Dawn's been diagnosed with dementia.
You know I'm 86 then.
You are 85. You'll have to do the math.
It's the first time she's completely reliant on her family.
Which I think she probably does find quite hard. She's never been that person her whole life. She's always looked after herself.
Granny's dementia has deteriorated a fair bit, ended up in hospital after having a fall. breaking her hip and both elbows, in hospital for quite a few months. And that was when they were like, she can't stay at home, she needs professional full-time care.
Christy thought she'd found Dawn an aged care home on the Sunshine Coast. She already moved in, and then this phone call changed everything.
The admin side phoned that do the billing and said, "Are you aware that it's $1,250 a day?" And I went, "Oh, no." I said, "I was told 78. And she said, "No, that's somebody who has a Medicare card."
She doesn't have a Medicare card because she hasn't been able to get that level of citizenship you need. Despite the fact her daughter, her granddaughter have lived in Australia, Dominic's represented Australia in rugby union, in rugby sevens, and now plays NRLW. And, when you look at the numbers on paper, people at home can be like, oh, well, we shouldn't have to pay for their care. They're not Australian citizens. But it's until you go into that person's home, sit down with them, have a cup of tea, I would be very surprised if anyone still thinks that they're people. We need to look after them. They're in this country, they're family, call Australia home. And quite often, we do get these cases across our desk at a current affair.
Yeah, very often. And I'm glad the Dutoy family came to a current affair, and we'll do what we can to try and get a result for them because, don't give up hope, Dominic, because we do get results. So, speaking of grannies and grandpas, you've been well looked after, I hear.
Look, I've never been so well fed on a day at work. And this is all about a story, and I'm going to give you a little Italian lesson here, Steve. Nonno's grandfather, nonna, grandmother in Italian. So there we go.
Thank you very much.
Almost fluent. So I've never had a day where I've been so well looked after and so well fed in my 20 plus years of journalism.
Why is that?
Because traditionally the Italian grandmothers have done all the cooking. The grandfathers are not even allowed to set foot in the kitchen. So I spent a day with a beautiful bunch of nonnos who showed me their cooking skills. We started off the day with beautiful Nonna Bert. He has a place in Sydney, and it's as Italian as it comes, right?
Is that Bert as in B?
Alberto, I think.
Alberto. B-E-R-T.
Oh, no,
Alberto.
sorry. His name's Bart.
Bart. Bartholomew?
Bart. It probably is Bartholomew, actually.
Very Italian.
Not a Bart. Sorry. His place is Italian as it comes. He's got the beautiful veggie garden out the back.
Except for his name. It's not Italian.
Well, a lot of Italians, when they came to Australia, they felt like they had to sort of give themselves Aussie names. So maybe that's what's happened.
Okay.
I don't think that's it. I think Lizzie came back a bit tipsy that day.
We'll get to that. Thank you, producer Naomi off camera, who's outing me.
I think you might still be feeling the effects of that day out there.
Look, I am a lightweight. So we went to the garden. We picked some veggies because Nonna Bart was going to show me, his famous recipe. Then we went into his cellar.
Look out.
Under the house. Now, I'm only little. I'm 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
80-year-old Nonna Bart, I don't know, he's very nimble. He managed to slide in. I had to awkwardly get in behind him. I don't know, this is why he's very nimble. In his cellar, homemade wine in vats.
In vats? Hang on, he's got some sort of production going on here, is he?
I don't know. Homemade vinegar, pickled vegetables, of course, the tomato sauce, the passata, all in there. So we collected what we needed. We went up into the kitchen and then he cooked me this beautiful dish. Then, that wasn't it. Of course, it's not an Italian lunch.
Come in.
Without friends. And today we have plenty of those too. Nonno Tony has brought his wine.
Bene.
Nonno Frank's brought his family favourite. And Nonno Peter's been cooking too.
Buongiorno. Come andiamo?
Queste qua sono gli spedi calabresi.
Calabrese.
The Italian way, la dolce vita. I think I had my first glass of wine at about 10 o'clock.
Okay.
In the morning.
All right.
And we just slowly grazed on through. And it's such a beautiful thing that's happening at Nonna Bart's daughter has started a YouTube channel. It's called Nonno in the Kitchen. So basically she's going around the country collecting recipes and stories of all the Italian grandfathers who can cook. And along the way, getting their personal stories about how they came to Australia, who was with them on the ship, who they left behind in Italy, where they were born in Italy, and where all these recipes have come from. And it's quite often from their mothers or their grandmothers. Now they're in Australia cooking the recipes for their family. So it was just such a beautiful day. I left laden with leftovers in the alfoil.
I think I saw a bit of those come back,
They
right?
did make their way back. I didn't scoff them all. Also sampled some homemade limoncello, homemade grappa.
That was a limoncello.
Oh,
yeah.
Look, it was a lot for 10 o'clock in the morning, but it's all part of the job. I took one for the team.
Funny that. It was an all-day shoot. Funny that. There you go.
Well, I had to come back that afternoon to write the story because we're on deadlines.
How good are the Italians with their food, though?
And just so kind and generous. And you can really see why. And I think I put this in the story. It's a lifestyle that is worth hanging on to. You know, they look after each other, they feed each other, and they talk. And, you know, they're all in their 80s. No one's grabbing their phones anyway. But no one had the urge to grab their phone because we were all so focused on each other and listening to each other's stories. And it's such an important tradition to keep alive. And the interesting thing about this, Steve, was a lot of the grandfathers were quite outgoing, very confident. There was one, Nonno Tony, who was a little bit quiet. Didn't talk too much, was speaking a lot in Italian, didn't really want to, speak much in English. But at the end of the lunch, when he'd had, a little bit of homemade wine, just a taste, I was collecting all of my leftovers to take out. I turn around and look up the stairs, and there he is singing Pavarotti.
No. At the top of the stairs.
At the top of the stairs, serenading me as I made my way back to the crew car.
See, he was saving his vocals.
And it went a little bit... should I do a bit of a...
Please.
Oh, solo mio. Sorry, Nonno Tony. I've really not done your rendition justice, but it was, it was just one of those moments.
Actors Got Talent. Right here.
Or not.
Oh, well done.
Viewers.
Shining
it was
the
a real
torch.
highlight.
Shining the torch on the elderly and how well they're doing.
Yeah.
Speaking of the elderly,
Yes.
Nat Wallace, one of our intrepid reporters,
Oh, Nat.
got a great result.
Yes.
Got a great result
Yes.
for Bernice.
Bernice, beautiful Bernice. She's such a graceful woman too, isn't she? I think she was a ballroom dancer, which is why she has
very
that
graceful.
beautiful poise.
Yeah.
But she's in her 90s.
That'll explain why, as people will see in the story, why she's so elegant on a spiral staircase.
Exactly.
When the likes of people half her age, me, become a cropper, right?
Yeah.
So, poor old Bernice, she trusted a bloke called Leon to install some new stairs, a spiral staircase on the outside of her unit. What, she was 2 or 3 floors up, wasn't she?
Yeah. It's quite a long spiral staircase.
Yeah.
And he didn't do what he was going to say he did. She handed over quite a bit of cash and had no staircase to show for it.
Yeah, 30 odd grand.
Yeah. She came to a current affair, which a lot of people do. And wonderful Nat Wallace, I sit quite close to him in the current affair office. He poured his heart into this story.
Yeah.
He's such a passionate reporter, and when he sees something that's gone on that's not quite right, you can see he's got a little fire in his belly, and he really wanted a good outcome for Bernice.
Leon was a difficult customer to track down and ask what happened to Bernice's staircase, right?
Found him at the servo.
Yeah, found him at the servo. Classic filling up. And Nat, in his classic Wallace way, approached him with a great line.
Well, I've heard of Da Vinci. What sort of painter's Leon Leonidas?
Sorry?
This painter's also a lover of fine art. Just the fine art of deception.
Here's bad news.
Have a look at this. It might jog your memory.
But after spending an extra 10 minutes in the servo that morning on the way to work, Leon sunk to a new low.
I'm not Leon.
You're not Leon.
No. You got the wrong
You
guy.
match his pictures, you're driving his car,
The work
you've
car.
come from his home address.
The best part of the story was someone coming to the rescue, you know, and delivering Bernice her staircase as a surprise, right? And we were all touched by that in the office.
Yeah, and I think our inbox was flooded with builders and people who wanted to help because they saw this, you know, injustice that had happened to Bernice. And final touch with the builders that finally managed to build her staircase, and we don't mind giving them a plug because you know they did it for nothing and out of the kindness of their hearts. And you could just see Bernice was genuinely surprised when Nat went and knocked on her door and told her what, you know, these guys were going to do for her.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do tear up quite a lot, but I did tear up watching that story. It's just
great result.
You know, this is why we do what we do. This
great
is
result.
You know, this is the reason.
Yeah,
and to Leon's credit, he's paying back the money.
Yeah, well,
so
last time we heard he was. So
let's hope he
let's keep an eye on that.
Follows through with that.
Yeah. Okay, so what a lovely theme today. Whistleblowers and granddads.
We've had a lot of granny focus today, haven't we?
That's
we do love the grannies.
We must respect our elderly.
Yeah.
You know. Thank you.
Are you saying that you're elderly? Steve, you've got
I'm
about
older.
2 years on me.
I'm older.
That's about it.
I'm older. Okay, so
now
yeah.
we do want everyone to write in with their questions.
That's right, because we get a lot of questions that, you know, when we're out and about from people we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, but also at barbecues and dinners and things like that. People love to know about our gig, right? So you can contact us at aca@9.com.au.
Your deep, your dark, your burning questions, anything you've ever wanted to know about how we put a current affair together.
That's right, and we
Send
didn't
us a
get around
note.
to one of them that was asked last week, right, from Sally from Mackay, whose question was, have you ever worn a costume or a disguise or gone undercover for a story?
I think this question was directed at you, Steve Marshall.
Get out.
I can say hand on heart, I don't think I've ever worn a disguise or gone under. I mean, depends what you mean by gone undercover. I've never worn a costume or disguise or pretended I'm someone else.
Look, neither of us. The closest I've come is donning a Peaky Blinders cap to go into a gathering. It was a church gathering, actually. A very large church gathering. It was to do with the Hillsong Church. And it was about the alleged misexpenditure of church funds.
Okay.
By
and
the
who
former,
were you trying to be?
Oh, myself. But I didn't want people to see me because it was a large gathering of 2,500 people.
So you didn't want your cover blown.
No, that's right. It was a winter's night, and I had to approach the boss of the Hillsong Church, Phil Dooley, who had taken over after these allegations of extreme expenditure or plundering of the accounts by the former boss of the church, Brian Houston. So I just had to don a Peaky Blinder and a heavy jacket to go into the church gathering, and what transpired from there was that I didn't expect it, but Phil Dooley came and walked past me in the church, so we didn't have a chance to grab a camera from the car, so we just filmed this on our iPhone. We filmed my approach to Phil Dooley on our iPhone, but it all happened in such a flurry was that I forgot to take off my Peaky Blinders hat. So
that is part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, people watching that story would be going, why is he wearing a cap?
Well, now they know.
I think they call it a cheese cutter.
A cheese cutter. Thanks, Naomi, our producer over there. A cheese cutter.
It's quite a serious story, but now we know, if anyone was watching that episode of A Current Affair, why Steve was wearing that.
A cheese cutter. There you go.
So do we have another question from for this week?
From Trev from Taree. Trev from Taree.
Oh,
Come
hi,
on,
Trev.
Is that for real? Trev from Taree. What, to the reporters on the road, what's the worst thing that's been thrown at you when confronting baddies?
Ooh. I've got an answer for this.
Do you want to answer it now, or should we
save it for next week?
Should we save it for next week?
Maybe we save it for next week.
Yeah. Okay.
The worst thing. I can probably think of a couple of worst things, but one thing has just sprung to mind.
Excellent. Teaser, please.
It was not a very excellent thing.
All
It
right.
left me a bit scrambled.
I love that. I love that. Okay, Lizzie, so how do people get hold of us?
They can contact us on all of our socials,
Yeah.
YouTube, and of course our email, which is aca@9.com.au. If you have a question or if you have a comment, anything you'd like us to cover, let us know.
All right. You heading back out on the road?
Heading back out on the road.
Let's get out there.
Let's do it.
See you later.